Hey everyone, John and Will here, Man Talking Mindfulness. Clearly, you clicked the Man Talking Mindfulness button, so you're listening to this episode. But hey, we want to do something a little bit different today. We've been going for 6+ years, basically since January or February of 2020. Started this whole thing back in COVID when we all had to start going virtual, and I saw Will had started to teach his yoga virtually on Instagram Live, and we kicked it off. We kicked off Men Talking Mindfulness with Instagram Live, and we've come a long way since then. And that's kind of the value add, if you will, for today's show, is that we wanted to talk about the fact that we truly had no idea what we were doing. And that's kind of the whole point here is we jumped in and we got it done. And we're not here to toot our horns about that, because I'll be honest, I was embarrassed. and if you ever go back and listen to our first episodes, I'm still embarrassed about those. But sometimes that's when you know that you've started at the right time. Because if you're not embarrassed, there's a saying like about the minimum viable product for entrepreneurs or people who are wanting to get into their passion projects. If they wait too long, or if they wait until they're no longer going to be embarrassed about what it is they put out there, then they've waited too long. Like Star Trek. When Star Trek first came out, I forget who created Star Trek. Are you Star Trekkies out there? You're going to stop listening to the show because I don't know the who created. But when that first episode, episode came out, the creator of Star Trek was embarrassed. Wow. Yeah, and that's how you know that you've done something good. Is you get it out there and then you grow from that. You don't just shut it down, right? Yeah, Will and I, we've been going for several years now, 6 years. And it started with that Instagram Live. I mean, there were episodes that we filmed from, I was working in a co-work space for a while. Yeah. Then I moved across the country. Will was working in a completely different living in a completely different apartment. Yeah. I literally filmed this on both my computer and my phone, sitting outside of a Starbucks, bumming off their Wi-Fi from my yellow Fiat with black racing stripes.
Yeah, that was funny.
And there were several times when I know the heat warmed up my phone so much that I had to drop off, and Will was still there carrying the show.
Oh, that's right. Like early days. And it's Gene Roddenberry, by the way.
There you go.
Gene Roddenberry is creator of Star Trek, who is an American television screenwriter and producer who conceived and developed the entire franchise, right? And this guy was embarrassed. And look at how many years did Star Trek run?
Right. And there's movies and extra whole different versions of the show, the new version, the old stuff. So yeah, it's come a long way, right? Well, so is our show. I'll stop talking real quick and turn it over to Rob. We were just talking to Rob, our producer, which we didn't have back then either. We certainly didn't have a producer.
And guys, and Gene, where would the world be if Star Trek wasn't started?
Right?
The world, and for anyone listening out there, it's like, there is something that's in your heart, right? Whether it's something that whatever, big or small, whatever, it starts somewhere. Right. And it doesn't even matter sometimes what the results are at the beginning at all. It's just start it. And we had no idea we were going to get here. I remember, there's a time during the podcast, or really early days. John,
I know where you're going.
I know. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I'm like, hey, John, I think we're striking a vein of gold here. And one thing that, there's a old story that I think it was a man digging for gold a long time ago, and he dug for a year, and he just kept digging and wanted to find gold and wanted to find the gold. And he kept digging. He gave up after a certain amount of time. And if he just would have dug another 6 inches to the right, he would have hit that vein of gold.
Yeah.
So it's just and I remember, just that when we almost gave up the show early on, I was like, I think there's something here. And there is. And there's also something for anybody out there, anyone listening, that's something that you want to start. And, and we just stumbled our way into success. And we're still stumbling away, majorly into success. When we have a plan now, we have definitely more of an audience. So thank you for listening. We definitely have more of a strategy, which is continually developing over time. But that's just how these things work. It's we these projects with like a very clear like linear projection and how we want things to go, but when you look at the actual graph of what it looks like, it's just a big jumbled mess for a certain amount of time. We're kind of like tripping over or kind of chasing our own tail, but then all of a sudden something breaks and then we are launching into another direction, or we because we keep showing up, being consistent, doing the work, right? Like, and what's really the biggest gift, I think, that why the show has continually grown is because we have me, I have you, John, you have me, and we have each other, right?
Community.
In order to, like bounce ideas off us, create things like, split the responsibilities of producing a show. So like a partnership has been something that like, I wasn't expecting, but it's just been so incredibly part of. Like, I just feel so incredibly grateful for it because I don't know what I'd do without you, John, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean that's we have personally grown through growing the show, right? As the show has grown, so have we. So has our audience, and I don't mean our audience has grown in size. I mean it has, but I mean there are listeners who have grown individually, personally, professionally, emotionally, spiritually through listening to what it is we talk about, or through listening to our guests that have come on, or by reading a book. We have grown. So that we prepare for having a guest on, or again, listeners go and be like, you know what, I want to go read that book, and they've grown through it. So there's been a tremendous amount of growth, both for the show, for us as individuals, and then for our listeners as well. And that's kind of the really the thing that we wanted you all to hear, right? We started, like Will said, with no plan, no audience, no strategy. And if we had waited until everything was perfect, we never would have started, right? And if the Star Trek guy had he waited until it was perfect, we wouldn't have had Star Trek. And the idea that you're sitting on, the invention, the project, the conversation. You're telling yourself that you're going to start tomorrow, or I'm going to start when I'm ready. I mean, it's like somebody waiting to have kids, a couple waiting to have kids. A lot of time people are like, hey, we want to wait until this, and this. It's never perfect. Timing is never going to be perfect. You're never going to be quote unquote ready. We weren't ready, but we started anyway, and we started from that Fiat, my yellow Fiat. We started with, the episodes from the RV when my dogs were barking or coming into the picture, or the Wi-Fi was dying, and that's really the best time to start. You iterate from that, right? The best time to start was yesterday.
I think one thing that really helped us to start too is the one thing we did have was a vision to help people understand this in a meaningful way. So it wasn't about us trying to get where we are and create this channel and and be monetizing and doing all the things that this show has grown into. It's like our core principle, and it still has never changed, is that how do we help other people? In this case, it's like, how do we help men understand mindfulness in a meaningful way, right? That actually help them become more happy, healthier, and strong. It's and if that's like, and you're gonna but that's what has helped us to continually produce all these shows, get out of bed, do it again. No one's listening. It's like years, no one's listening. And then all of a sudden, hey, we got 15,000 downloads. You're like, oh, that's great. And it's just but we keep growing. And it's amazing, and also our message has gotten much clearer as we've gone through this as well. So, just so many gifts.
We've learned a lot about our listeners, and we're starting to we're starting to identify what their pain points are, which quite often are our same pain points. So, I mean, recently, what have we covered? We've covered body image, right? Male eating disorders. We've talked about fear. We've spoken about anger and grief, and 100%. we did a big episode that really hit a nerve on divorce and fatherhood.
Addiction.
Addiction. Absolutely.
Whether substance addiction or porn addiction is a big one.
Right.
Then it's just how do you begin to heal from that? We go into self-compassion, understanding breath work, understanding the power of meditation, obviously. And then we just, and then as we continually vibrate out, wanting to help other people, but also doing the work ourselves and being very vulnerable in the process, realizing it's not easy to become a mindful man. And then all of a sudden we get somebody like John Eldredge on the show.
Yeah,
We just
John
had Sean
Eldredge.
Fargo.
I was just going to say Sean
we
Fargo.
Right. We were able to talk to Jocko Willink, which was amazing. And so it's just like now we're in kind of this conversation within like the podcast community, and like James Nestor early on, thankfully.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, James Doty. And because of James Doty, now I'm an ambassador to compassion through Stanford University because of literally just studying that man. That's it for the show, for you guys to listen to.
Right.
Incredible.
Yeah, highly recommend all his stuff. We've had Stephen Kotler. We've got Stephen Pressfield coming on soon.
I know, it's crazy.
We've had SEALs, Special Forces, NFL, NHL.
Ben Howard Behar from Starbucks.
Howard Behar, two Starbucks presidents.
Yeah,
right.
That's right.
Yeah.
Allen.
Yep, we've had authors, business leaders, psychologists, psychiatrists. We've had multiple monks actually.
Yeah, it's true.
Researchers, coaches,
Stanley
CEOs.
Cup winners.
Yeah, Stanley Cup winners. So I mean, we've learned every single time. And again, when I say we, I'm not just talking about you and me, Will. I'm talking about the two of us, but also our audience. I mean, we have over 400 episodes, but 275 are like long form.
Yeah.
And every single one of them taught us something. And the reason I say that is that every single donut that you put out as a donut maker, every single widget maker, every single session as a coach, every single building that you make as an architect, whatever, you're going to look back and you're going to learn from that. And you're going to have some failures along the way. And that clearly that failure in and of itself is going to be painful, but that doesn't make you a failure, right? It makes you a failure if that's where you stop, but you learn from it and grow. And again, every single one of these conversations have taught us something. So I wanted to make sure we got that out there for our audience. What have we learned along the way, Will? Like what people really want is permission. Say more.
Well, I mean, it's like they want permission to take that step, to do, to go a little bit further. Some of the episodes that hit the hardest were the ones that where someone said things that were very hard to listen to. They already knew, but it was like, they never said these things out loud. Or just simply, I need help.
Right.
Is usually something that, but if you want to add a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the episodes that we've had on, relationships, on addiction, on pornography, on sex, a lot of those things that we discussed, I was even uncomfortable talking about them on the show, but I knew that we knew that they had to be said. Right. And I think, when men, they will talk about the hard stuff if the audience feels safe. Our guests have come on and again, I haven't felt comfortable necessarily talking about X, Y, or Z, and then we created a safe space, quote unquote, on the show to discuss it, and then that I think allowed our listeners, our listeners didn't come on looking for this therapy session.
Yeah. Right.
Although there have definitely been some that it felt like you and I were in couples therapy together, couples counseling, and some even more than others.
Yeah.
But that the conversations that we had, they got real because again, the guests and you all as our community really let it get real, and you came back and we knew that's what resonated with you all. So I'm very appreciative to our guests clearly, but I'm also appreciative to our community in that they let this show become what it is. What else, Will?
Well, I think we've also learned a lot about what it means to be more mindful, whether it's in your mind, whether it's with your breath, whether it's in your relationships, or whether it's in your body. And it's just like, understanding, taking care of this incredible, or even understanding your body as a very powerful instrument, right? That you need to tune those chords every single day, or several times a week, or a month, or a year, depending on what kind of, part of your instrument that you're tuning.
Mm-hmm.
And so whether it's like we're talking about, how to get better sleep, or brain fog, or just like even hydration we've had on the show. So it's just like, so it's it's creating these healthier conversations for sure. And if you don't, like, what happens? The body begins to take the score.
Right.
Body will
Keep the
take the
score.
score. Yeah.
Yep.
Whether you're winning the game or losing the game, the body's keeping the score all the time.
That's right. Yeah. Bessel van der Kolk, right? Yeah.
Still have
and
to get him on the show.
I know. And we keep trying. We will get him.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And then, we've created a company from this, Focus Now Training, and that's all based on the fact that distraction is a real killer, right? Our attention is being stolen. We recently had Nir Eyal on, the author of Indistractable, Hooked, and his latest one, Beyond Belief. And we talked a lot about how our attention is being stolen and how that is specifically being engineered by some of these multi-trillion-dollar companies. But anyway, that kind of led us into creating our company, Focus Now Training. And I think that leads into, the community that we've built, how with that community, you can learn something about yourself, and you can really grow as an individual, but then grow closer. And having community is so, we've spoken about it multiple times on the show. It's so important, but it's also been shown to be one of the single indicators of positive or negative mental health, is if there's just one deep relationship that somebody has. So community could be, 50 people, 500 people, or it could be literally just one other person that you can lean on. And that you quite often are that person for me, which is, again, coming back to why we kind of developed Focus Now Training and the podcast. I know you had some points about community as well.
This is like, I think what I've been seeing over the last couple of years of the show is like how incredibly powerful community is in order to create change. And it's something that's lacking tremendously in our world right now. We've had, we only had Clint Musgrove. What's up, Clint? Show up for our first Spartan race in October. We're having another one coming in May. We're going to be doing more events, throughout the year in person. But there's just like community really, it's, what happens when we get in community with other people, whether it's online or whether it's in person, because they both can work. I mean, it's just a different way of participating and being plugged into that community, whether it's, again, virtual or whether it's in person, is you really get to see people that are struggling with the same things, but also you become more inspired by hearing other people's triumphs.
Yeah.
And it's just, and because it, again, I say so often now because I was so inspired because of James Doty going through the compassion course of how incredibly powerful common humanity is. You realize that you're not alone, right? We're all we're all human beings suffering often with the same things. It might just look a little bit differently. And community is so powerful. Another reason, it's just like, cause there's accountability without pressure. And it's like that's going to just be incredibly helpful. And we've had a lot of this. Like that's why we're launching this course. One of the reasons we're launching Awareness to Action is to help you understand these very simple and fundamental mindfulness techniques at a very basic level. But one of the biggest things that's going to be a huge win for this program is bringing people together once a week for an hour to talk about our common humanity as we move through this course together. So we also, in that case, we get to like witness each other having triumphs, and it allows us to build even more confidence. As other people gain confidence, we gain more confidence because we have a place to go. We have a place to connect. And then we also begin to reflect on things that are working or aren't working. And it's, again, just and then the last part here is really when you're building community, and that accountability piece is like consistency is truly contagious.
Oh, yeah.
So
for sure.
You get that flywheel going. But John, I'm sure, you're in the teams, John. You know what I mean? It was so much about the brotherhood, so much about the community. You're like, I can only can you just describe to me, like, with your community setting, like how incredibly powerful you must have felt with like your 12 guys around you that are all on the same mission together. Like I can only imagine like what that was like.
It was the best, man. We had, team flow essentially.
Yeah. Wow.
All working out, all working towards the same goal, the same mission.
Damn.
Ideally. And then, you talked about the accountability piece. You mentioned accountability wut without pressure. We did put quite a lot of pressure on one another. Yeah. We would have these, on the range, we would hold up our targets to see who shot better, or every 6 months we would have these physical tests. Like the Navy has their standard physical tests, but Naval Special Warfare would have even more rigorous tests, and you would get scored on this target that you would actually, it would show you, how many pull-ups you did, how many deadlifts you did, how much bench press, and it would show, moving how you were trending from the last test, either positive or negative. And then they would take these scores and put them on the wall and you would see them, and we would give one another a ration of crap about, hey man, I see your pull-ups went down, or I see your run time slowed down.
Right,
so we really, I mean, it was all fun, but it was also, talking about keeping you accountable. You did not want to be held to a standard that you couldn't attain, or that you weren't at least working towards getting to. But yeah, that also leads to the consistency is contagious piece, right? When you saw somebody that was not doing well on that test, and then they would get in the gym regularly to work on the part that they had faltered on, then other people would get into the gym, and we improved as a team. That consistency truly was contagious across all of us. So, yeah, I mean, the value of community is huge, and that comes, full circle to what we even started talking about, right? The starting of something big, something that you've been putting off for a while. Sometimes that community can help you with that too, right? So, starting messy. It's still starting, right? So every single guest that we have had on talked about their community, just about every single one. But they've also they've built something meaningful, and they all say the same thing, right? They started before they were ready, and they figured it out along the way. And the obstacle was never the resources or the timing. The thing was them just getting started, right? And then having, if you have trouble doing it yourself, have a buddy to hold you accountable. So it's really the value add of this episode. We clearly didn't have much of a plan coming into this episode either, but I think ultimately the value add is two things. One, start. And the two is, if you can't get started, have someone hold you accountable. Get that community to surround you, to support you, and even to, when you do start, if it's ugly, have that. Like, we've got advisors who correct us all the time. They're like, hey, you guys are going down the wrong path. Let's get back on here. So get some people who have been there, done that, and that can really be helpful. So, that's awesome. Talking about getting started. As far as getting started in these practices, something that you could do as far as mindfulness, meditation, compassion, relationships, developing community. We have developed our first real course. We've had some meditation courses before, but this is a formal online course that you can actually log into. It's hosted on Circle, and it's the Awareness to Action course. And it's literally built around 3 separate pieces of mindfulness and meditation: developing awareness first, then coming to presence, and from presence going to action, taking everything that you've learned and actually implementing it in your life, implementing it in aligning with your ideals and values, with your relationships, with your relationship with yourself. So, we've come a long way. We've got 275 episodes down. We're just getting started, but we're also just getting started with this course, Awareness to Action. And you can find out about this course, stay in the know. We're launching May 27th, but it's going to be a continuous sign up. You can sign up whenever you're ready, and you can get more information by texting the letters A2A to 33777, or you can hit the link in the show notes below. Will,
also,
what you
we have
got?
a webinar. Come to our webinar. If you want to just get a little bit more information about this course, we have a 1-hour webinar on May 27th. So you need to just sign up for that. That'll be where can we find that, John?
Well, yeah, and when you sign up for the information link, the webinar will be sent to you as well, the information about the webinar. And if you come to the webinar, you're going to get a code for an introductory rate of the show that will last for 48 hours once the webinar shuts down. But yeah, not to turn this into a salesy episode, but I wanted to put that out there. So thank you guys for joining us. Will, I will turn it over to you.
Well, thank you guys. We're excited for this upcoming course. We're thank you so much for allowing us helping us to get to over 175 episodes, and
275,
275, right? With 300 come by the end of the year. Thank you, John. Honestly, John, it's been great to grow this with you and to get to know you through this process. And it's just really been an honor to do what we're able to do and like I said, to get to know you. So thank you.
Same here, brother. And we're not going anywhere. We're going to be right here.
Love it.
Be right here. So thank you guys. Till next time. Take care.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Peace. Bye.